All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something big, China's new trade playbook. And listen, this isn't just about another tariff or some new trade deal. We're talking about a fundamental rewrite of the entire legal code, the very rulebook that governs how the world's second biggest economy engages with, well, everyone else.
So you have to ask, right? In this new era of trade wars, how do you even begin to rewrite the rules? Well, that's exactly what's driving this whole thing. The world has just changed. Trade isn't a friendly game anymore. It's more like high-stakes chess. It's become a battleground. And what China's doing here, it's rewriting its rulebook for this tough new reality.
So to really get why this new law is such a huge deal, we actually need to hop in a time machine for a second. The last time this thing got a major update was way back in 2001. Think about that, a time of, peak optimism about global trade. The world that this new law is being written for, yeah, it's a completely different planet.
And that gets to the heart of it. That old idea that you could separate trade from politics, it's gone, completely. Now, every single economic move is also a strategic one. Just think about the fierce tech rivalry or the global scramble for critical minerals. That's the new game. And China is updating its playbook because it fully intends to win.
So what are the specific pressures that are really forcing their hand? Well, you've got these rising geopolitical tensions heating up all over the place. You have supply chains that we now know are incredibly fragile. They can snap at any moment. Then there's the increasing use of foreign trade restrictions, basically countries putting up walls. It's created this really contested, turbulent environment that China now has to navigate.
Okay, so with all that pressure, what's China's countermove? It's this, a complete top-to-bottom overhaul of its foreign trade law. And this isn't just some minor piece of legislation. This is the very foundation of its economic engagement with the rest of the world. And it's all slated to go live in 2026. And this timeline, man, it really shows you just how significant this change is. Look at this. Back in 1994, when it was first enacted, the goal was simple: open up the economy. Then in 2001, for the WTO update, it was all about aligning with global standards, fitting in. But this 2026 strategic overhaul, that's different. This is about responding to a brand new era, one defined by competition and, frankly, conflict. And I really want to stress this. This foreign trade law, it's not just another regulation on the books. You have to think of it as the legal foundation for Beijing's entire trade policy. It's the master rulebook. It's the legal engine that provides the tools to manage all foreign trade and economic cooperation. Everything from what comes in and out of the country to how it partners up with the rest of the world.
And if you want to know the ambition behind all this, just look at this quote pulled right from the law. Its goal is to help build the country into a strong trading nation. And that one word, strong, it says everything. See, for years, China has been a large trading nation, a giant, right, in terms of sheer volume. But the new goal isn't just to be big, it's to be strong. And what does that mean? It means having the muscle to not just play the game, but to actually change the rules.
So what's actually in this new toolkit? Well, the revised law brings in a whole set of new measures that are both defensive, acting like a shield against foreign pressure, and, ambitious, looking forward to seize the opportunities of the future of trade. And this comparison really lays out that two-pronged strategy perfectly. On the one side, you've got the defensive shield. This is all about countering foreign restrictions, stabilizing those crucial supply chains, and sharpening the legal basis for things like export bans. It's like building a fortress. But then, on the other side, you've got future-proofing. This is about embracing digital and green trade, adopting high-standard trade rules, and strengthening IPR protection. That's not a fortress. That's a rocket ship built to compete in the economy of tomorrow.
So let's drill down into some of the new mechanisms, the actual legal machinery being put into place. For instance, there's negative list management for services trade. That sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It means that unless a sector is explicitly put on the no list, it's open for business. That's a much more modern, open approach. Then you have things like a trade adjustment assistance mechanism, which is basically a safety net for Chinese industries that get slammed by sudden global shifts. It's all about building a more robust and responsive system.
Okay, let's get to the big picture here. We've talked about what's happening inside China. But why should the rest of us care? Well, because none of this is happening in a vacuum. These changes are going to have massive ripple effects across the entire global economy.
And it all feeds into a much larger strategy to completely reposition China on the world stage. The game plan is actually pretty clear when you look at it. First, reduce reliance on any single partner, which means diversifying trade partners and supply chains. Second, join high-level trade pacts, which means aligning Chinese law with some pretty strict international rules. And third, manage geopolitical disputes legally. That's a huge shift towards using law as a primary tool in trade conflicts.
And really, this is the bottom line. For decades, China was a rule taker. It played the game by rules that were, for the most part, written by others. This new law? It's basically a declaration that China is ready to pick up the pen and become a rule maker, shaping the future of global trade on its own terms. And that, of course, leaves us with a huge, lingering question. As major powers, not just China, start rewriting their economic playbooks, what happens to the idea of a single set of global trade rules? I mean, for generations, we've basically operated under that assumption. But as everyone starts writing their own playbook, is that era coming to an end? Are we heading into a future with multiple competing sets of rules? That's the big uncertainty we all have to grapple with now.